So this third video demonstration will pick up where the second video left off. So essentially what we did in the second video was establish a color palette. So again, anytime you touch this color wheel, you get a colors window, and now I've got the Columbus State color palette ready for me. And I also edited a master slide, specifically the blank one, so that we have a common background, so that every single time I add a slide, I can choose that background. Okay, and I showed you a quick shortcut to do a copy and paste. That was a Command C and a Command V. Now what I want to do is dive in and show you essentially the basic formatting of a text box and a shape. And the nice part about putting these two up here, not only are they the most common ones that I use, but they are precisely the same. There's one small difference, and it's negligible because we don't really use it. So when you're formatting a text box and formatting a shape, the options underneath format, okay, are the exact same. So right now nothing's selected. Let's go ahead and drag in a text box, make it a title perhaps. Let's go ahead and make it, this is the title, and we can put it where it needs to be, and maybe that text color, as we'll get into, needs to be white. Okay, and we're good there. Now I can also add a shape, and we'll do a rounded edge shape just for the sake of illustration. Okay, and we can change the overall size, which we can do in a different way, but for right now let's just make it big enough so we can see it. Now what I want to show you is when you first start off with a text box as well as with a shape. Okay, the options, let me collapse these just for the sake of illustration. Okay, the options underneath the format, I'm shifting between selecting the text box and the shape. Underneath format, style, okay, the options are the exact same. Okay, you can do a fill, which means change the fill of the box that is the text box. You can add a border and you can add a shadow. You can do the same exact things with the shape. Okay, so the fill is essentially going to be what's going to be inside of the box. Let's just go ahead and make this one white. Okay, you can do the same thing here, only we wouldn't want to because the text is white right now. So let's go ahead and change that to a different color. For our intents and purposes, let's make it one of these blues. I would never do this because it doesn't look very good, but you get the point there. Okay, one of the grays perhaps. And again, the whole goal of showing you this is that whether or not you're selecting a text box or a shape, your options underneath format are the exact same. Okay, a border. I'm selecting the text box there. Add a border. I'm adding a line most often, and I can do the same thing with a shape as well. There's your border. Okay, I added a line. You're formatting them the exact same. Now, a shape automatically comes with a shadow. I use drop shadow most often. Okay, you can apply a shadow to a text box as well. Drop shadow, and now they both have shadows. You can make them more or less significant using the blur and the offset. Let's make it white so you can actually see it for illustration. Now I have a shadow under the text box. You can do the same exact thing on the shape as well. Make it white so you can see it a little better, or black, whichever is best to see it on this gray here. And you'll notice I can format, again, the text and the shape in the exact same way using these three options: fill, border, and shadow. And again, you can extend down those options by selecting the caret here. Okay, I don't use reflection very often. I do often use the opacity, which we'll get into in more specific types of demonstrations. Okay, now text box, style, and shape style options are the exact same. If I go to text, you'll notice they're also the exact same. I'm going text box here, and we've got a shape here. The options here are the exact same. The reason that is the case is because even if I am inside of a shape and I double click, you can get a text box. You get the ability to add text. So this is text, and you notice nothing's seen right here because it's default white. Go to my color wheel, change it to black so you can see it. And so that kind of describes why when I select a text box as well as a shape and I format the text, in both cases you're going to get the same options. You can change the font, right? You can tell if it's left justified, top justified, middle justified. You can do all of these same things whether you're dealing with a text or a shape. Again, I like this because these are the two that I put up there. They're right next to each other, and formatting them is the exact same. Okay, that's the moral of the story, I guess. Last but not least, if I select the text box or the shape, and then go Format, Arrange. Again, the options are the exact same. The only difference, and it's a subtle difference, which I don't even, it's negligible for me, is you get the option for the shape to affect the radius of the corner. And I don't even use that though, because I can just grab this green thing and stretch to change that radius. You'll notice the text box didn't have that option. That's because it's a square text box. If I wanted a rounded text box, I would use a shape, just like I did here. All right. So again, in summary, okay, everything is the exact same. Now for some very useful things in terms of arrange. As I'm formatting under the arrange option here, either one of these, right? I most commonly use the arrange option or function to position something. I want something that is left justified here. It's precisely, I mean, these coordinates are adjusted such that they correspond to the left side of this box and the top here. So this is 0, 0 in this upper left corner. So that means this text box is 45 points from the left and 30 points down from the top. Those are X and Y. If I wanted this to match up perfectly, right, I want it to be 45 over, okay? So now it's perfectly in line with the other, okay, and I can put it at whatever Y that I would like it to be at. So this is how you become very precise in terms of where you place things, but again, you're formatting them the exact same way, whether it's a text box or a shape, okay? So I'm going to keep this one really basic. Again, in summary, you have the ability to format both the style, the text if there is some on the inside of it, and the location and size and arrangement necessarily of the text box and shapes in the exact same way. It's important to note as you start to get into this, which is again part of the reason why I think this toolbar has become very efficient for me specifically. Okay, there will be a subsequent video that dives into how to format, or really the formatting options available to an image when you drag it in. So I'll kind of leave you with this before video 4. So if I wanted to bring in an image, doesn't matter which image it is, I can just bring one over, right? An image file, a JPEG, a PNG, okay? And the next video will go into how to edit this, because this will differ. If I look at style, all right, I have fewer options, okay? And then I don't get the option for text because I can't double click it and make text. So I get some image options here as well. All right, so there's a little bit of a different formatting once I'm under format for an image as compared to, I just deleted that, as compared to a text box or a shape, which are 99% the exact same.